And joining us is David Greenfield, a clinical psychologist and founder of the Center for Internet Behavior. We're so glad you're here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you make of this kind of explosion in especially texting?
Well, texting in some sense, especially for the youth culture, or what I call the digital generation, is almost a new form of communication. I mean, it's unique, it's separate to them, it has its own language, and it's a shortcut, and it's also nonverbal and secretive. So it's a way of sort of creating a separate identity and a separate way of communicating.
If you're looking around in your own household and you're looking at people who use these devices on an almost constant level, where is the line between abuse and addiction?
Abuse is when a lot of us might fall into the category of abuse, when we're using something a little bit too much, or it's interfering with our lives in a small way. Addiction is when it interferes in a major way. Work, home, school, relationships. In some major sphere of your life, there's a decrease in performance or gratification.
Right. You say that this sort of addiction or the potential addiction to these handheld devices is often or in some ways similar to people who sit at slot machines.
Yeah, because texting and emailing, every once in a while you get something that's good, but you can't predict when you're going to get it and what it's going to be. And that's exactly the same reinforcement schedule that occurs in a slot machine, say. So the brain gets a hit, and because it's unpredictable and you don't know when and where, you are compelled to wait for it. And that's why people will stay on for hours and hours and hours and send hundreds and hundreds of messages.
So you think of the people who sit there with their little bucket of nickels in front of the slot machine for 12 hours at a time.
The brain thinks it's the same thing.
Same thing.
That's right.
Interpreted exactly the same way. We also heard about one of the young ladies there, and I think this is also very common. Kids especially sleep with their cell phones or put them under their pillows?
That's right. And because it's a portable, private technology, and a lot of parents aren't empowered to take care of that technology, or they don't even know the kids have it in the room, they're not monitoring that. So, you know, my own son told me the other day that he was up till 4:30 in the morning, and I didn't realize it, and I didn't take the phone away. Because if you let them in the room with that phone, they're going to abuse it. There's no way to avoid it.
Maybe there should be some intervention there from the standpoint of if you have teens in the house and they have their own phones, they're on the charger in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
After such and such a clock.
I absolutely agree with that.
How would you know if you were looking at your kid, or if your kid says, I was up till 4:30, how do you know if your kid is addicted to their phone?
You know, basically you're looking for markers like you would with any other addiction. Is their school performance dropping? Are they not getting up in the morning? Are they performing poorly in social arenas? Are they more sleep deprived? Because that's what we see a lot with kids. Or are they developing some physical tendon issues with their thumbs, believe it or not?
And then there's a whole other issue of pictures, and there's a whole thing in the paper today about kids and pictures and
the
trips.
thing is that the child pornography laws were not written when we had cell phones and texting technology. So what's happening is a lot of these kids are sending images that are pornographic in nature and are of underage individuals. So when these images,
which goes back to the secretive stuff that you talked about.
And they don't realize what it is, and then of course they're subject to being charged under these laws. So it's very scary.
This is a cautionary time, right? Dr. David Greenfield, very good stuff. Thanks very much.